Welcome back to the Knife Studio.
Here it is.
My name is Kyle Royer and I'm a master bladesmith.
It looks really cool when you wire wheel it.
Making my first ever sword. So let's embark on this epic edged adventure.
I want to clarify something from the last video. It may have looked like I was upset at Dad. 1750. 1750. That is really bad. We're done. And I really wasn't. Just really upset that the blade got overheated and messed up and everything. I took it out on a pair of vice grips and kind of just like threw it to the floor. Anyway, I just want to let you guys know that I was not upset at Dad, and we love each other, right, Dad?
That's right. Lots of love. I'm on the phone.
The reason I was so upset at the blade for not coming out the right temperature was because we went through a lot of work to try to get that normalized properly the day before. When we pulled that blade out to harden it, and it was at 1750. That was about 200 degrees hotter than I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be about 1550. All that normalizing and stuff we did had to be redone. It's ready to go. Let's get to it. Let's harden this blade once and for all and get this sword moving along. All right, we gotta be quick about this. It'll be cooling down as we go. Yeah, I'm super nervous. 1550. Well, the plastic melted at the top. Oil's 180 at the top. That's not bad at all. The color was beautiful. It looked really even. It was gorgeous. I about cried when I saw it. Might be able to straighten it a little bit if it's got a horrible warp or something. It's still a little warm. Oh my goodness, it's got a bad warp. Now I'm gonna pop this baby over on the surface grinder magnet. So it's really important to make sure you get the blade cooler than whatever temperature you're tempering at. If you don't do that, it'll be kind of auto-tempering itself higher than what you want, making your blade softer. And I hope I can straighten that thing out. Probably turn the forge off. Well, I don't want to do that until we know it's hard. Because if it's not hard, we could possibly do another attempt at it, but it should be hard. It should be. It's curving one way up here, and then a different way in the middle, and then back to the same way down here. So it's like, it's gonna be a challenge to get it straight. So something to take note of here when we run the file across this, we had to normalize this thing quite a bit. And it's soaked in the heat quite a while, so I'm expecting a pretty thick layer of decarb on the outside. Decarb is where the carbon's literally been burned out from the hot fire being on it for a long time in the atmosphere and stuff. So there's probably a layer on the outside that seems soft. I hope it's really hard once you get through that. I bet it is. Start right here at the tip. Yeah, I mean it is rock solid there. It was soft on the outside, but as soon as I got through that decarb, I mean, that file is going nowhere. We'll move up the blade about a foot. Excellent. The blade gets larger and larger up towards the base, and also all the hot oil would have gone towards the top because hot oil rises. Chances are that if any part of the sword would be soft, it would be the top, more so than the rest of it. We're good there. I'll test it here, and then we'll take a look at the tang and maybe flip it over. Do it right here at the base. This is where the oil would have been pretty hot. And also there's a lot of mass in the blade right here because the blade's a full 2 inches wide. Rock solid. I might lightly sand the blade. When it tempers, I'll be able to see the color, the tempering colors. That's gonna be our next challenge, is tempering this thing. My tempering oven's 23 inches long and this whole sword is almost 4 feet long. So I'm planning on tempering half of it at a time. So now we gotta figure out how to temper it. Got the oven preheated just to get it warm in there. Cancel it for now. Open this door. Which end do I wanna do first? I don't think it matters, but I'm gonna go ahead and do this end. Stick that in there as far as we can. And now we gotta just stuff cable around the doors as best as possible to get this thing tempering. I'm feeling good about this. Should be able to temper half of it for a couple hours, stick it around the other way and temper it. I ground the surface clean so I can see the coloring that comes onto the blade. That should help as a visual indicator show where the blade's getting tempered, just to make sure we're getting good coverage. I'm gonna temper this blade at 450 degrees which is a little bit higher than I normally do my really big daggers and buoys and stuff, and that's because I want this blade to be not quite as hard and a lot more springy. We're only going a little bit higher than what I normally do. Got it set on 450 already. Want it to hold for 3 hours. There she goes. She started up too. It looks like our little bypass of the safety switch worked. After that's tempered, I'll come out here and flip it around the other way. Hopefully we'll be able to get the whole blade tempered pretty evenly.
The next day.
I tempered the blade last night. I think the part sticking out was drawing too much heat outside the oven, so it only tempered the very ends of the blade, like the first 6 inches or so were tempered, and that was it. That's not gonna cut it, and I don't have anything else long enough to temper the whole thing at once right now, so what I'm gonna do is temper it with the torch, going by color on the steel. We wanna go to like a, just past the straw color, into like the bronze / lightly purple color. I already went over the whole blade once and tempered it once, but I want to go over it again with the torch, just because when you're doing it with the torch, it's a good idea to do it a couple times just to make sure you got everything covered evenly. I did one section, then I did the bottom section, then I did the middle, but now I'm gonna do the whole thing with the torch all at one time and get this tempered up, and then we can start surface grinding and getting it flat and everything. That was my second time going over the whole thing. I might go over it one more time just to be sure, because there's a couple little spots that get a little extra hot, so going over it a few times helps even all that out really well. I got this spot right here a little extra hot, but I caught it really quick before the temperature spread very much. I'll definitely test it with files and everything and make sure it seems as hard there as it does on the rest of it. And then if it did get too soft there, I'll re-harden the blade. The next thing I'll do is start straightening the blade out, do a combination of straightening and surface grinding. I want to get it mostly straightened out before I start grinding in bevels and everything. But before I grind in bevels, I'm going to probably put the fuller in. So straighten / surface grind and fullers, and profile the blade, because that still needs to be done, and then grind in bevels. Trying to get this blade straightened. I want to get it probably 90% of the way straightened right now. It'll probably warp again later when I grind it, but for now I want it nice and straight. And also when I grind it, it'll probably just warp one way or the other and not have multiple directions going on. One of my favorite ways of straightening a blade like this is to heat the center of it until it's like brown, or maybe even all the way up to like dark purple or so. As long as I don't get the dark purple in the edge, but just keep it in the center of the blade. If the blade is warping this way, and I'll heat it on this side. I heat the other side first just to get rid of condensation so I can see the colors better. And then I do all the heating from that side. So like right now the blade's warped this way right here. I'm gonna need to heat it right here. You have to pull the blade over pretty hard. I like to spray water on it to cool it down. I'm cleaning the color off here from the last time, a little bit of sandpaper, so I can see what color I get this time. I heat this side up to get rid of the condensation, because that can mess up the coloring a little bit. Now that the condensation's gone, I can focus my heat over here where I want it. You want to be careful not to get the edge any hotter than your tempering temperature. You'll have a soft spot in your edge. Almost there. As soon as we get it there, I'm going to put some pressure on it, pull it over pretty hard, and spray it off with water. You gotta pull on it pretty hard sometimes. Like sometimes I feel like the blade's about ready to possibly break or something, although I don't think I've broken one doing this before. It almost feels like you're putting a lot of pressure on there sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't really do anything, and sometimes it does it way too much, and you actually have to go back the other direction. Yeah, we're getting it. We're getting her there. I need to work out here towards the tip a little bit more.
I understand you're frustrated. So many unanswered questions. The video left you hanging. You simply need to subscribe so you can get notified of the most recent videos. Thank you for watching.